And so now the discovery, I'm going to talk about the science behind and the product that we're introducing to you all. It's called EHT. And EHT is a molecule found in coffee, ecinosyl hydroxytryptamide, very complicated name. You see the structure there. It's an actual molecule. So what we were able to do is so through a process, we discovered at Princeton University, my father discovered a specific protein that regulates neuronal function. And we were able to take that protein and purify it from brain, and then put it in a test tube, and then screen all kinds of different things to see what activated that protein. And instead of going the traditional chemical, like drug route, we thought that we'd go after things, foods and everyday things that have cognitive enhancing function. We screened a number of different botanicals from all over the world that had epidemiological evidence showing that they enhance cognition. And one of the things that we screened was coffee. Everybody knows coffee, right? Everybody knows coffee. We all love coffee. Humans love coffee, right? Well, there's a reason why humanity loves coffee. Coffee is the second most traded commodity besides oil. Wow, right? So there's a reason humanity loves coffee, right? It's because it's key for brain health, key. So we chose coffee for obvious reasons. Everybody takes it, there's a reason why. And so what we did, it took us about 3 years. We took coffee and we separated coffee out into all its various components, and then screened each one of those components through our screen. And eventually, we discovered this molecule. So it was a big discovery. It was a big discovery. And it's not caffeine. This is not caffeine. That's what everybody kind of thinks about coffee, but that's not the beneficial component. So then what we were able to do is then we developed an extraction process to have a refined, highly enriched coffee extract for this molecule. And that's what EHT is. And again, we have a global patent, composition of matter, from Princeton University on EHT for better brain health. That's amazing. So my next slides, I'll get into, it's pretty technical, so bear with me, but it's an important message, and I'm going to try to tell it in a way that all of you can tell it to your friends and family, which I think is key. So here's a schematic of a brain inside a person, and inside that brain, a brain is made up of neurons, and these neurons, inside these neurons are these signal transduction pathways that I mentioned. And specifically, there's these things called microtubules. These microtubules are like train tracks inside a cell. And they're responsible for transporting food and messages and vital cargo throughout the neuron. And so what happens as you age are these neurons, these microtubules, start to break apart. And what holds these microtubules together is a protein called tau. And you might have heard of tau. Everybody remember Junior Seau killing himself, and they looked at his brain. The brain, all his microtubules were all disassociated, and he had neurofibrillary tangles everywhere. And so these microtubules and this protein tau are essential for microtubules to be stable. And so what EHT does, it affects tau in such a way that it stabilizes these microtubules. And that's what this schematic is. And so when microtubules start to break apart and form these neurofibrillary tangles, which happens in all of us as we age, it's happening. There's no, everybody ages. But you want to fight against that as much as you can in whatever way that you can, not only through exercise and diet and health, but also through taking products that enhance brain health like EHT. So here is an actual electron microscope image of tau, so of these microtubules. And you'll see in the one square, you can see that tangles are forming and these microtubules are disintegrating. I mean, this is all accepted science. This is all You know, go type tau into Google. You'll see it all. It's all there. It's the major hallmark of brain aging and dementia. It's all there for you to see. So here's an actual image of this going on, which is pretty impactful. And so here is the protein that regulates tau. When I mentioned you before that we isolated a protein from brain and used it to screen things, this is the actual protein, PP2A, protein phosphatase 2A. It's a complex protein, and these proteins are inside your cell, inside your neurons, and they're bouncing around and interacting with all the other components of your brain, and they actually are responsible for keeping tau and microtubules stable. And so what EHT does is it directly interacts with this protein to keep it in its active state, so it keeps tau and microtubules stable. So that's the basic foundation behind the science behind EHT. Pretty simple story. It's a pretty simple story. And here's a schematic of that. So you see EHT activates PP2A, and you can see on the left the microtubule where PP2A is actually snipping off pieces of making tau more stable. And then you have that stable microtubule, and you can see a stable microtubule leads to a stable, healthy neuron. You're able to maintain your brain health. And what happens when a microtubule becomes unstable and starts to disassociate, your axon will actually disconnect. And that's how you lose a memory, right? Your memories are all the connections of all your neurons. That's how your brain works. And so what happens when you stabilize those microtubules is you keep those connections, and you fight aging as best you can.